Okay, so this is my first YouTube video. Um, I've been on YouTube pretty much since it's been in its existence, but I think I posted one video. It was like a picture of Walden Pond when I was working at Mac Technologies in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this channel. Like if you look at my description, I'm a professor of practice of computer science. And, one thing I've found is that nobody really knows what that is. The university that I'm at right now thinks that, well, I don't know. The impression I get is that they think that it's a teaching position, and it is, but it's like in my estimation, a professor of practice, the goal of being one of those is to bring, I guess we could say, the real world into academia. I think I'm qualified in both areas. I got my PhD in 2015 from New Jersey Institute of Technology, where I studied global optimization algorithms for about 8 years while going through the program there. Prior to that, I'd been in the military and industry for, well, I guess I started at the University of Washington in 1972. I was not getting the hands-on experience that I wanted, so I joined the military, and I definitely got a lot of hands-on electronics experience. As computer science hadn't been invented at the time. Um, so I was a satellite communications technician, and so I put my time in the service, got out, returned to the University of Washington, uh, got my bachelor's degree in 1979. Fast forward to now, there's like, I was able to earn two master's degrees while I was in industry, working the whole time. I got one of my master's degrees I got by distance from Southern Methodist University. I took the maximum amount of time. It was like from 2000 to 2006. And then I always had this dream of being a college professor. So typically, it's like whenever I need to do anything, I find that I need to be fully qualified. Um, and so I am. It's like I would, anybody can look at my PhD. It's for real. I did it there, on site. It's like all of my classmates were like in their 20s in general, not from this country, but hey, that's fine. We're all citizens of the world, I guess. um, so my last job in industry was in 2014. I was working up at Harris Communications in Rochester, New York, where I was able to teach as an adjunct at St. John Fisher College. So I look back on those days with pleasure. You know. uh, so so now I'm a professor of practice. I put in 5 years at Fairleigh Dickinson University in Teaneck, New Jersey, and last summer I took a teaching position. Well, it's a professor of practice position at the institution I'm at now. So I don't know. They say I'm not on the tenure track faculty, so I'm not allowed to speak for the university. So I won't. I don't want to run afoul of any regulations. So, like I said, I've been on YouTube a long time. I want to give a shout out to some of my favorite people. I like that News Now Houston guy. Uh, show me some ID. It's Earl David Warden. It's like I really enjoyed him. I enjoy William Mount. You should check him out. He's a little off the wall, but he's definitely worth listening to. Greg Manarino, Greg Hunter, um, David Wallace. Yeah, I like him. He's a guy that likes to go around and spend the night in shipping boxes or on the median of the freeway. Get a big kick out of him. It's like, it's like it doesn't take much to make him happy. Who else? Oh, Richie from Boston. I think he's really been my inspiration for starting to record stuff. He describes himself as a Massachusetts citizen with a notebook. I did spend a year in Massachusetts working for Raytheon when I made my return to the East Coast. I'm a West Coast guy. I grew up in Seattle, Renton, actually. I went to Hazen High School. So if by any miracle somebody from Hazen High School watches this video, I'll tell you the future is ahead of you. um, yeah, I really did. I loved growing up in Renton. It was great at the time. I mean, we're talking like 60s. At the time, it's like Seattle was pretty much undiscovered. Uh, I worked at Boeing, of course. It's like my first job I took was at Hughes Aircraft Company. Then I returned to Seattle, worked at Boeing, became a job shopper there. They had this rule where you had to go away for 2 years. So, serendipitously, General Electric opened an office there, and I got to do my 2 years, most of the 2 years at General Electric while I was working on my master's degree in software engineering from Seattle University, which I guess they've canceled that program. So, I don't know, maybe once you get to know me, maybe they might decide that might not be a good idea. I don't know. So I have no desire to return to Seattle. I'm tempted to come back for my whatever high school reunion that would be, but I don't know. I guess I would be in 2022. That would be my 50th high school reunion. But anyway, it's like I've attained my dream. I'm a professor of practice. Uh, I tend to I tend to be a very practical kind of person. It's like I really like to build stuff. There's just that's the one thing I like about academia. It doesn't matter what you do, you can't fail. Even if you fail, you got a case study, and here's why we failed. So I don't know. I'll go into more. I just it's like I just living as a job shopper. I never really liked the term, but now that I'm not doing it anymore, I guess I can say I was a job shopper. It just surprises me in academia. It's like people look at my resume and I've got like 25 jobs, and they think, well, you couldn't hold a job, but they had this. At the time they have this whole industry built up for people that want to do contract work. It's like you come in on the project, and then you're on the project, and then there are really no rules. I mean, they tell you you're there just to fill in, and then it's like soon you'll be gone, and sometimes you are, sometimes you aren't, sometimes they last a long time, sometimes they don't, but it's a very nice way to live freely. It's like it's very supply and demand. When they need engineers, you're there. When you're not. Working on those types of projects, they tend to not keep you around if they don't have meaningful work for you to do. So in general, that's what I had to do. It puts a strain on your family, but it comes down to like doing the best you can. A lot of people have had it worse than that. A lot of people have had to put up with more in terms of moving and working away for a lot less money. So anyway, you know, I tried to be a direct employee a couple times and it just failed miserably. So I don't know. I have three boys, two I've lost touch with. So if by some chance Ben or Brian, you see this, you know, you got my email. Um, so you know, reach out. That's fine. My oldest son is is an IT manager. Uh, I like to think that a lot of his success was due to the fact, like when he was 10, 11, 12, we were building 286 computers and we just kept, you know, we just really nerded out through his formative years where we, you know, where we built stuff. And so I think the thing that the compliment he gave me is, you know, it's like working with me with all this stuff, he's not intimidated. And I think there's a lot of times, like, you know, people are intimidated by the technology. Um, and so you know, I get tired of it sometimes, but, you know, in many respects, what we do is very difficult because they keep changing. They change everything. You know, what languages have I worked in? You know, assembly, Fortran, Jovial. They had this Atlas language that we used at General Electric. You know, there's Java, Ada 83, Ada 95, uh, C++, C, um, Python, Python, and then MATLAB has a language too. I've never really been fond of the interpreted languages, but you know, they didn't really run that by me when they decided Python was going to be the language of the future. So um, the classes I've taught, I don't know, there's been a lot of them. When I was hired at Fairleigh Dickinson, it so happened that, you know, by circumstance, it's like they were flooded with like 450 Indian graduate students that were looking for their master's degrees. So they hired three of us as lecturers, and so that, you know, it's like the enrollment decreased, you know, every year. It got like cut in half every year. So it was like 450, 225, blah blah. So at the end of 5 years, you know, things had decayed so much that they gave two of the three of us the boot, and I think it worked out for the best. You know, all that time I was really looking for a professor of practice because that's what I am. To me, that's what I am. I don't really know what the school thinks about that, but you know, that's what I'm going to be. And so I kind of make my own definition. So a professor of practice should have worked at least 10 jobs, have to have the PhD, should be recent, you know, within the past, well, at least after the internet was invented. Uh, you know, you got to like to teach. Uh, you know, it's like you should have you should have a lot of breadth and depth. You know, sometimes you go deeper than others, and so on. So I don't know. I guess that's my introduction. Is there anybody I did not mention in my YouTube shout out? I would really hate to miss anyone. Give me a minute. um, I got to come. Okay, we'll make a rule. I have to come up with one. Oh, Lisa Haven. Yeah, I like her. Um, and maybe I can dredge up one more. Oh, that Scotty Kilmer guy. You got to watch this guy. He's been an auto mechanic as long as I've been doing this, and the guy's a little whacked. but you know, I guess breathing all of that gasoline fumes kind of does it to him. But again, it's Scotty Kilmer. Um, I recently had to buy a car, so it's like he told me like what the best used car was. You know, supposedly it's a 2011 Toyota Camry. So I've got one in my garage now. So he better. I'm gonna be mad if he told me wrong. My other car is a 1998 Toyota Tacoma that I bought new, and it still runs just fine. You know, one of these days I'll have it broken in. I just recently registered it in this state. So that's the 7th state that truck's been registered in, and it's been back and forth across the country 3 or 4 times. Well, anyway, I don't know. Since this is my first video, I guess I better quit. I've never, like I said, I've only posted one video to YouTube. The company behind me, TBD World, this is our website. I have the startup company. Pretty much what it's being used for now is I have a research assistant that's been with me for 3 years. And so I got to keep her in the country. So she's my research assistant. She is my manager of systems analysis for TBD World. And, you know, before they throw her on the plane to ship her back to where she came from, you know, it's like I can probably get her into my school as a PhD student. So we got a plan A, B, and C, but I don't know. I question, you know, whether or not they are all interested in booting people out of the country right now. I don't really know what they're doing, but we'll see. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm Bill P4, Bill Phillips. You know, and so if you can subscribe to my channel. I think I got 14 subscribers. So to all of my subscribers, thank you for waiting for, I don't know, 20 years for my first video. But we'll see how this goes. I'll make more. You know, it's like every time I'll dredge up some what I think will be interesting experience, and then it's like I'll try to get my son on this. Oh yeah, I don't remember it's like auto advisors or something. There's like a father-son team. I'll get it next time. I'm sorry, I don't remember the channel name, but it's a father-son team, and they tell you the ins and outs of buying cars. And it's like the older guy, he's older than me. You know, he's had a lot of experience, and then he's got his son with him. So I'm thinking about doing the same thing myself. You know, it's like I'll bring my son online, the third. So I'm a junior, he's the third. So you know, we can maybe see what he has to say about the IT world. So that's all for now. I will, you know, if this, I don't know, I'll think about it, kind of see what response I get, maybe make some more of these. I don't know, we'll see. So talk to you later.